I was looking for something more to do with my time. And so I was attending the Job Seekers group in Peachtree City that meets every Friday. And it's a faith-based group, so we always start with a devotional.
Yeah.
And your dad has been doing the devotional for, this is probably the 10th year. He does it about 4 times a year. And I'd been attending for a number of weeks, about 8 weeks, and he came and did the devotional.
Yeah.
And he talked about, I have jobs for people who want jobs. And he said, in the 9.5 years that I have been doing the devotional here, nobody's ever asked me for a job. And I was ready to just chase him down as soon as he got through with the devotional. I was keeping an eye on my watch and tapping my foot, just chomping at the bit to get out of there. I went home, accessed the company website, because that's one of the things they teach you at Job Seekers.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a job, research the company. And then I called Glenn and I said, I heard you this morning at Job Seekers. I'm interested in a job. We had a good conversation. This was Labor Day weekend of last year, Friday of Labor Day weekend. And I left at 11:30 with a job, and I started the day after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And I have loved working here as much as any job. I would almost do it for free because I like it that much.
Hi. Clothing is one of the most personal choices that we can make. It can showcase our personality by allowing us to express ourselves. Oftentimes, caring for our garments becomes an afterthought. Here at Dry Cleaning Connection, that is what we do. We take care of your garments for you. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be sharing with you our team who picks up packages, cleans, and presses your garments here on a daily basis in this new video series that we titled Off the Press. Now, I have been having a lot of fun sharing these experiences with you, sharing these stories. And my name is Grant. I work here at Client Experiences and Dry Cleaning Connection. Back in 2010, my family, Carson, Tammy, Glenn, and myself created Dry Cleaning Connection. During building Dry Cleaning Connection, half my time was working and building in the company, as well as learning how to do customer service, and the other half was getting through high school. We believe everyone who comes in contact with Dry Cleaning Connection ought to have their lives improved. Let me introduce the person who we're going to be interviewing today, right now.
Well,
yeah.
that's what I've been all my life. I was in drama in junior high, debate in extemporaneous and oratory in high school. I was telling Megan that when I was a senior, I was on the novice debate team, the ones who are not as experienced, because most of my speaking was extemporaneous or oratory. But we won the novice tournament at UGA, which is a huge tournament. And then I ended up being 4th in the state in extemporaneous. And, have been pastoring for 35 years. And when we lived in Monticello, there was a guy in my church that produced one-act plays.
Yeah.
And he got me into a couple of his one-act plays.
So hi, my name is Grant, and this is my friend David here. But also, he works with us here at Dry Cleaning Connection. He is a driver and a garment detailer. So those are two separate terms. Those are two separate jobs. So tell me a little bit about what you do, and kind of describe just basically what you do with the two types of jobs.
Okay. Well, hello, I am David. You have said at the introduction of most of these videos that clothing is a very personal choice.
Yes.
So I would want anybody who is watching this to know how vigilant and meticulous we are at caring for their clothes.
Okay. Yeah.
The first thing we do when somebody gives us a bag to pick up is we want to check and make sure there's nothing in the pockets. Because if there were gum, candy, a pen, it could mess up a lot of people's clothes. So we take a lot of pride in caring for our clients' clothes. We also want to make sure that if any women's garments that have eye hooks on them, we pin those back so they will not catch on and mess up anybody else's clothes. For about 6 weeks, I was in charge of wet laundry.
Yeah.
And so we had to be very careful in reading tags that we didn't throw something in the washing machine that needed to be dry cleaned or was very delicate and need to be hand washed. And we also wanted to make sure that we didn't put anything in the dryer that might cause it to shrink. All right, so that is pretty much the extent of what we do to check on people's clothes. There's some items, of course, we have to hang up to dry or lay flat to dry. For about 5 months, I was opening the shop and I was turning on all the equipment so when the pressers arrived, there would be enough steam for them to go to work. And there was a time when I was opening the shop, in charge of wet laundry, having a delivery route, and then when the clothes came back, checking them and making sure they were heat sealed so the garments were in our system.
Yes, and you've gone at different places within our company.
Right.
And,
Worn many hats.
Yes, you've worn many hats, and you've been great in all of them. There are some
Thank
that you know, just didn't fit well with you personally, and that's perfectly fine. You know, we try to do our best to kind of fit people where they are, where they work best. Well, going into the next thing, I got to tell you, his origin story, or your story from getting here to Dry Cleaning Connection, how you got here, I think is really cool. I think it's a really cool story. So please tell me about how you ended up being here at Dry Cleaning Connection.
So I'm a retired pastor. I've been pastoring for 35 years. I still have a part-time church, but I was looking for something more to do with my time. And so I was attending the Job Seekers group in Peachtree City that meets every Friday. And it's a faith-based group, so we always start with a devotional.
Yeah.
And your dad has been doing the devotional for, this is probably the 10th year. He does it about 4 times a year. And I'd been attending for a number of weeks, about 8 weeks, and he came and did the devotional.
Yeah.
And he talked about, I have jobs for people who want jobs. And he said, in the 9.5 years that I have been doing the devotional here, nobody's ever asked me for a job. And I was ready to just chase him down as soon as he got through with the devotional, but out of courtesy of the rest of the group, I was keeping an eye on my watch and tapping my foot, just chomping at the bit to get out of there. So as soon as I got out, I went home, accessed the company website, because that's one of the things they teach you at Job Seekers.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a job, research the company. And then I called Glenn and I said, I heard you this morning at Job Seekers. I'm interested in a job. So we had a good conversation over the phone. And then he asked me, how soon can you get here? And I said, well, as long as it takes to go from Fayetteville to Peachtree City. So I got here probably about 11 or so. We had a good conversation. This was Labor Day weekend of last year, Friday of Labor Day weekend, and I left at 11:30 with a job, and I started the day after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And I have loved working here as much as any job. I would almost do it for free because I like it that much. Well, I see myself as an ambassador of goodwill for this company.
Yes.
So when I am in a van that has got Dry Cleaning Connection painted all over it, I want to make sure that I'm driving in a safe and courteous way. I don't want to upset anybody. Nobody wants to see anybody speeding in their neighborhood. So I would never want them to associate anything bad with this company, particularly if they're not customers, because I see them as potential customers. So anytime I see people walking on the street, I always try to smile and wave to them. I don't have a whole lot of interaction with our clients, but when I do, I always introduce myself. I try to find some point of connection with them, whether they've got a SEC decal on their car, because I have connections with different SEC schools, whether or not they have pets or a pool, or I notice that they have an interest in grilling. I try to establish some rapport with them, and then I always leave by telling them how much we appreciate their business. And normally their response is, "We really appreciate the service that you are providing."
It's amazing how incredible, just for you, how incredible that you've taken personal approach with talking to people, because that's what we wanted to build within Dry Cleaning Connection, is to have that personal connection. You don't usually get to know who handles your clothes.
Exactly.
And for me personally, it's a huge thing for me. I mean, I want to know who's touching my clothes, because it's so personal to me, as you
Right.
said at the beginning of the video. What have you learned by being here? What are some things that you've...
Well, to an outsider who didn't know anything about the dry cleaning business or the cleaning business in general, I suppose that most people are clueless when it comes to the many facets of this business. So, not knowing anything about the cleaning business, except whenever I had to have my dress shirts done, I always took them to the cleaners.
Yeah.
But seeing the whole operation, as I described the different things that I did when we received the bags, the different things I learned when I was in charge of wet laundry, I think I know the business pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about dry cleaning, except the opening up and making sure that our filters were clean and that the nitrogen was on, and turning on the cleaner in the boiler and stuff like that. I mean, when you think about the many different facets, probably the greatest education I got was when I was opening the shop.
Yeah, I mean, that is probably the best example. But also, I mean, doing detailing clothes, I mean, you get to see all different types of clothing.
Right.
And, you get a feel of taste
Yes.
for certain types of jobs. And I can tell you, you've been great at that. So some of the things that we've learned from you, and what we had to learn along the way is in any type of business, there's growing pains, right? And because we're a family-run business, and because we communicate with one another, on a daily basis, we generally have an understanding of how when leadership talks, that we have a general understanding of what they're wanting. With you, we've had to realize that there are some things that we haven't written down, or we haven't put into a process, and being able, for example, opening up the plant, I wrote the process and you finalized it.
Became a little bit different. I did things in different sequence.
Exactly, and you tweaked that, and that was great. And so,
And as I trained Rachel how to do it, it didn't take her long at all, because she'd been working in the business for so long. But I trained her according to my procedure.
Exactly. And going forward with the last question, which is, what do you do on your spare time? You told me something about cooking. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, well, first and foremost, my favorite hobby is travel.
Okay.
I've traveled all my life. I've seen a lot of the U.S. I've been to 17 or 18 different foreign countries, and several of those countries I have been to more than once.
Yes.
Being a pastor, certainly the country that I've been to the most is Israel. And as my children are adults now, and we probably will not be having many family vacations with all four of us as they develop families of their own, my wife and I are taking them to Israel in November. That will be the last time that I go, just because I've been so many times that there are other places that I want to see. So whenever I travel, I research the daylights out of the place where I'm going to, so it will make the experience more enhanced. Secondly, I do enjoy cooking, particularly live fire cooking. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I've been doing live fire cooking for 50 years, but at the same time, there are other types of cooking that I like, and I enjoy collecting different cooking gadgets. I have an air fryer, I have a electric pressure cooker, I do a lot of sous vide. Just about every time I do a steak, I use sous vide, so that certainly brings a lot of pleasure to me. I enjoy collecting music and attending live events. I have digitized all of my music onto a hard drive, so all I have to do is push a button on my receiver and listen to it. I've probably got 1.5 terabytes of music stored.
We enjoy having you here. You've been a great help here at Dry Cleaning Connection. I can't tell how much what you bring in every day and what you do every day. I mean, there are so many different challenges that you overcome, and you bring that great attitude to Dry Cleaning Connection. And you're a very interesting guy, and I hope that the people that are watching get to know you even better through means of contact with doing the delivery or online, sending a message down below to talk to you.
I am at the best place that I can imagine in my life.
Yeah.
So everything just seems to be balanced and well-rounded. And
Perfect.
I thank Dry Cleaning Connection for giving me that opportunity.
Well, we thank you very much for being here. Seriously, you've been a great help.
Well, I've already mentioned the fact that I have a couple of adult children. My wife is a retired geologist, and we have a lot of fun together. And we have a cat.
What's the name of the cat?
Mr. Fiskars. We had a cat. He's a tuxedo cat. We had one that looked just like him that was a female called Fiskars.
Yes.
And so we named him Mr. Fiskars. We had 4 at one time, but now we're down to a 14-year-old cat.
And that's very nice. Well, I hope that everything continues to be great with you.
Well, I love working here so much that my plan is I want to work here as long as I'm physically and mentally able.
Yeah.
So, you might have a 80-year-old delivery driver, at some point in time.
Well, I hope you, if that is the case, I do hope that if you are still here, that you've gone up and you're in some other position, because, if you're still in that position now, that you haven't learned as much. And I want people to be better, constantly to be better in Dry Cleaning Connection. So I'm very thankful that you've done an amazing job here at Dry Cleaning Connection. You still do that every single day. And I've learned a lot. I mean, I've known you now for over a year now. And
almost.
Yeah, almost.
It'll be a year come Labor Day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, almost a year now. And just sitting down here, I got to know you even more. So it's been kind of cool. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below if you learned anything. Also, please say hi to David. We would love to share those comments. We've recently had some comments on our older videos, and we've been sharing those with our other drivers. And we've learned a lot today, and I hope you guys get to meet David out on the routes and get to see him out there. Anyway, thank you so much, David.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. And
You
everyone,
too.
have a great rest of your day.